Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are here on the patch 9.5 test server, and we've got a whole lot of new stuff to uh, go over. And to start with, main thing that is on everyone's mind is the new German, or not, excuse me, not German, British. I know how to speak words. The new British tank destroyer line, which starts at tier 5 with the Archer, then the Achilles at tier 6, the Challenger at tier 7, Charioteer tier 8, Conway at tier 9, and the FV 4005 stage 2 on the tier 10. Other things to note is there's also now there's two separate routes. You can either go a whole new line through the M2, the Stuart 1 through 4, the Grant, which is a M3 Lee, and it was a little bit better uh, than the Lee in my opinion in real life, but in game it's exactly the same. Doesn't do anything for you. Then you have the Sherman 3, which is basically just a Sherman with it looks a little bit different. It looks like a jumbo Sherman without all the jumbo. And then you have quite possibly my most anticipated entry in World of Tanks ever, the Firefly. This thing was a beast of a tank. Basically, what happened is the British had all these Shermans, but wanted the ability to kill bigger and better tanks. So they strapped a 17-pounder gun sideways inside of one of these bad boys, moved the radio to the very back of the tank, and boom, Achilles. And, or not Achilles, Firefly. I know how to speak. Of course, one thing to keep in note is this is test server, and everything can change at any moment with the test server. There is now a new missions and skills set, so you can do a mission to get a hold of some new special rare tanks, starting with, you have to do these in order, as far as I've figured out. You have to start with the Stub 4, complete that mission to go on T-28 concept tank, heavy tank concept, which is it's a tank destroyer. There's two tank destroyers, a medium tank, the T-55A, and then at tier 10 you have the Object 260. This is going to be a pretty rare tank, and this is an absolute beast from the one thing I've seen of it. And then you have just your standard missions tab, which there are none at the moment. One thing to note is that of course, and then the Firefly connection to the Challenger, heads up. One thing to note is that the German Tier 8 premium medium tank is not in the game yet. We don't know what happened, don't know where it went, but it's not here nonetheless, which is sad, because I would have bought the thing. So, there is, as far as I know, nothing new in any of the other lines, apart from the Germans and the British, and the British don't even, or the Germans, excuse me, don't even have anything new. Some minor things to go over before we start getting into these bad boys is that the FV215B183, otherwise known as the FV4005 Stage 1, which is funny enough, or 183, excuse me, has been nerfed even more to make this thing even better, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, this thing is just getting, the Death Star is getting nuked, so I'm not sure how that's going down. Then, let's get started with these tanks down here with VM2. This is, for some reason, has a German markings. The stat page doesn't say anything about it. But it's a tier 2 M2, same as in the American line. This entire 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, excuse me, are all the same as Americans, and almost in the same line. The Firefly is just like, oh, a light just fell over. That makes no sense. Dogs in my room being annoying. But you have the M2, which is just the M2 medium tank, or M2 light tank, excuse me. And then at tier 3, you have the Stuarts 1 through 4, which is awesome. It's all different variants of Stuarts that were sent. So you have the M6 gun, which is I believe the clip gun. Nope, just a standard old cannon. You get a 2-pounder gun, which is always good. It's on all the British vehicles. Metaphorically speaking, they're not actually on British vehicles. Yeah, then they're all high def, which is nice. Looks pretty good. Then there's the Grant, which was a Lee with a different turret. It can fit the 75mm or it can fit a 6-pounder, which actually isn't that bad. It's still not as good. Well, the 6-pounder actually, the M3 didn't have very much penetration, 92. The 6-pounder is, as far as this version of Test Patch is concerned, it will have more penetration but less damage. So, something to look forward to. And I believe the turret armor, which doesn't even count, is stronger with this British version, which is nice. Of course, the strongest point is only 50mm thick, so use this thing like a tank destroyer, of course. Then there's the Sherman 3 M4 Sherman, just identical, but gets much more amount of guns. You get some 6-pounders. You actually start off with this little dinky thing. It looks like this, and then you just get more and more upgrades, which is nice. It's like a fun little tank. Then there's the Sherman Firefly, which is what everyone's been looking forward to for a very long time. This thing is very infamous. This is actually one of my favorite tanks of World War II, as it was a tiger killer. I mean, it could knock out all kinds of stuff at long range because it had a really good 17-pounder gun. They had to fit it. They had to turn it sideways, move this thing, which is an armored radio box, to the back instead of on the left side, so they could actually stuff this gun in. So you had to load it from the left. Excuse me, the radio's over here. You had to mount it from or load it from the left, which is interesting. This thing's gonna be a lot of fun. The current gun, which of course probably will change because it's, I believe, a placeholder gun. The current gun will more than likely um, be altered, but the current gun fires very quickly and is overall pretty impressive. Then moving back down to tier 5, we have the Archer, just loaded. This was a tank destroyer based off the Valentine. Now, if you notice something, looks like a Valentine was turned around, turret was ripped off, front of the tank was turned into the back of the tank, and the gun was strapped onto it. And if you thought that, give yourself a pat on the back. That's exactly what this thing is. This thing is literally one. This is the ass of the Valentine. This is the front. They just turned it around and drive backwards. This thing drives faster in reverse than it does going forward. Top speed forward is 12 kilometers an hour. In reverse, I believe does it with 20, which is interesting with this little thing. It's just like the Crusader 5.5, and it goes faster in reverse. So we'll see a lot of these things driving backwards. These tanks here from the M2 Sherman Firefly are the one way of getting up to the new line. The other way is to start with the Archer, go to the Achilles, which is an M36 Jackson / Slugger that gets a couple 17-pounders and a 3-inch gun. Then you have where the two lines meet at tier 7 with the Challenger, which is a lot like a TOG, except a tank destroyer. It has a similar gun to the TOG, except it's a tank destroyer, which is awesome. Doesn't have a very bad gun, but it is a tier 7 tank with a 17-pounder. Then there's the tier 8, which gets the 20-pounders. You can see. And it can even get the 105mm L7. For now, it has been given the L7. Don't know if that's going to even last the next test patch, because that's at tier 8, that's a pretty big gun. Then there's the FV4004 Conway at tier 9. Big old gun, gets the 124mm gun L1A1, very big, nice, nasty gun. Then there's the FV4005 Stage 2, which gets the 183mm L4, which is a massive gun. And yeah, and then there's, I don't know if it's happened yet. Let me check. Skills. Nope, never mind. Yeah, so this patch seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. this patch seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I have a feeling it's going to be quite joyful to be messing around with. Surprisingly, there isn't a lot of people playing these tanks. There's actually a lot of people more playing other tanks, which is the first time I've ever seen that. New tanks, usually everyone's on top of them. So, that's interesting. But the tanks that I am most looking forward to playing are the Sherman Firefly, for obvious reasons. One of my favorite tanks, World War II. The Archer, actually. The only thing I can say about the Archer, though, is that I'm pretty sure that if you get shot at all, it's going to take engine damage, which will be interesting. I'm just interested because it's a unique vehicle. And also, no, I was going to say that looks like a rocket, but I'm mistaken, I think. And then I'm interested in looking into the 4005 Stage 2, because that thing is just, it's, reminds me of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Actually, that giant back of the head sort of thing, which is awesome. Anything else to go over? I don't think there is. You start, the Archer starts after the Valentine, so, hang on. So, the Valentine that you probably already have, because you're going to the Churchill. Valentine will no longer be able to go to the Churchill. It goes to the Bishop. Sorry about that, my dog wanted to go out. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Archer. Oh, that's right. Where was I? So the M2 line starts down at Tier 2, so you have to go back to the Medium 1, unless you have enough free experience to skip it. And then you can start your way up to the Firefly into the Challenger. As opposed to if you go through the Cruiser line into the Valentine, which leads into the Archer, to the Achilles Challenger, or Convoy to the 4005. And this is interesting because they have this amazing tank, Firefly, at the end of this line that leads into the Challenger. If you want the extra trained crew, you have to start the Archer, go to Achilles Challenger. But if you want the Firefly, you have to go all the way around it because there's no crossover points, which I think is funny, and it gives people some thought. Do you want the Firefly line or the Archer line? It's purely up to you. I'm probably going to be going into Stuart, Grant, Sherman, Firefly, and doing reviews of those as I go, and then going back into the Archer, Achilles, and Challenger. I think, yeah. So I think that's about it for this video. Don't think there's anything else to go over. There will hopefully be some test battles in these vehicles if I can get a game that isn't Tier 10 with nothing but artillery. Not nothing but artillery, but like 5 artillery, and they pick on me. The amount of times I've been spotted, nuked, and had to go back to garage restart. It's insane, especially with all the bat chats. Looking forward to seeing when this Tier 8 premium medium tank will be added into the game for the Germans, as that will probably be a very interesting tank. Basically, what's going to be is it's Panther 2 with I believe, one of the 88 Omer guns. And then it doesn't get, I think it's preferential matchmaking, so it'll be an interesting beast. But quickly going to just flip through all the tanks in this new party update. M2, Stuart 1-4, the Grant, the Sherman 3, the Sherman Firefly in all its glory, the Archer in all of its backwards driving nonsense, the Achilles in its M36 loveliness, the Challenger, the Tank Startog, the Charioteer, you have V4004 Conway, and finally the FV4005 Stage 2 in all of its madness and glory. So I think that's about it for this video, guys. If I missed anything, be sure to put it down in the comments, and if anything new comes out, I will be sure to make a video of it. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, put comments in the comment section below. You know, rate my channel fairly, give you some helpful criticism, and I will see you guys in the next video.